remembers when she told him that Hattori stayed. Their abilities are only mutually exclusive. She also tells him that she is. Now you will show him these abilities. At this time, Kareem feels that something is wrong. Strange had happened. He says that he was sure that Park was going to kill him. He loses consciousness, and he never expected that this corona would come out. Someone like him. We know here that Kareem's entire life was about battles, between him and the monsters. And he was always very sensitive to me. Direction of feeling of danger. This is what made him achieve victory in everything. The battles he enters. At the same time, he blessed his health and said. He tells the owner, Marley, that he is very happy to share it with them now. But Marley tells him that she helped him only because if he died, she would also perish with him. Bako continues his words and tells her that he only has one bullet at the moment. He remembers the days when he was the best sniper in the army. This is the thing that made the team leader there change his mind. Then he comes screaming, making everyone in the place shiver in terror. He then says that one shot will be enough for him to end the battle. Here, it will have a lot of bacteria around it and the monkeys will turn to its rifle surveillance. This made Kareem wonder what was happening and ask himself if this was magic. But he tells him that he does not feel any magical addition outside of him. Then he says that Park's appearance showed his true strength and this is the beginning of the battle. But Park responds to him and tells him, no, this is the end of the battle. Here Kareem tries to attack Park, but he is surprised by the strange weapon he held. He wonders if this weapon is a long-range weapon. He tells Park that if it is long-term, unfortunately, you will not be able to hit me. Because in fact, this prediction is my property. Barak responds to him mockingly and tells him, let's see if your prediction skill is faster than sound. All the while, Jay pulls the trigger and actually succeeds in knocking Kareem out with a blow that makes him lose consciousness and fall to his knees. The earth. This made all the warriors in the village not believe that they had the strongest warrior. I am defeated. Park then raises his hand and tells the whole village that it was a difficult ordeal for them. Without Queen Brilla's protection, the outcome of the battle might have been different. He speaks to them after that and asks them if they believe now that he is the warrior that the owner Brilla sent. But in this case, no one responded to him that they were still shocked that Kareem had been defeated. They are also surprised by the weapon they see for the first time. And then they really ask each other again if this is the great warrior. The teacher on the other side also didn't understand what happened, because she was 100% sure that Kareem would win the battle. You will be even more surprised by the amount of tremendous power that he has shown in this battle. But suddenly and unexpectedly, Kareem regains consciousness again. This is what made Park very surprised because he was sure that he had injured him in a vital area of his body. He was also sure that after this injury, it would be impossible for Kareem to excel again. Here Kareem uses his last breath as soon as he wakes up to send a message to all warriors. The person in front of you tells them that this is the darkness that will prevail in the world, as Queen Brilla predicted. Exactly. At the same time, the cured sheikh was asking the teacher about her decision regarding Park. The teacher responds to him and tells him that there is a chance of 1 in 100 or 1 in a million. The result is unexpected results, and this person actually appears as a tree. At that time, she orders all the warriors to prepare their weapons. Kareem also orders them to take his last breath if he finds it and bless him once and for all. This is what put Barak in a very difficult situation because he found the whole village attacking him at once. 1. It is assumed that he is now fighting more than 200 people alone. At the same time in the sky, Baria's messenger, whose name is Brown, is barking at Park, as Baria told him. He knows that Marley was the reason they didn't know how to watch Park well. He laughs and says that her virtue is some residual strength. He tells himself that he must quickly report the situation to Queen Baria. When he informs her of the situation and tells her that Marley is still alive and that he has given her some powerful powers, she was also the one who was helping Park. Baria gets very angry and becomes fanatical and tells him that Marley now looks like a weak insect. She secures a chair and says that Marley's world remains hers. The time has come for it to merge the two worlds together in order to preserve its people. We go back again to when Park was fighting everyone in the village alone. Before they devour each other, they freeze in place because time has stopped. A large, strong crack appears in the sky, and strange, giant hands appear in it. A huge monster emerges from this crack. Suddenly, a very stingy monster appears who does charity and makes everyone present stiffen in place. Fear. Then other cracks begin to appear and huge gaps emerge from them. Among them was a strange red monster with 4 wings that used to work among the warriors. This was what prompted Dora to attack him, and she could cut him to pieces with just one attack from her. She asks herself if this devil, the one who blessed him, was the one who summoned all this monster. But the truth is that Park was standing there because he was afraid of this monster as well. He tells himself that he must run away now. They also say that he wanted to escape for a long time in the first place, but there were many people watching him, and this is what kept him from doing so. Arif runs away. But now, since everyone is busy fighting monsters, he can use the invisibility skill. He learned it in the army. Here he is trying to recall his memories from this period in the army. Specifically when he was using the invisibility skill, which made the entire army not know how to look for him. Indeed, after he regains his memories, he goes to use this skill. At that time, a country was surprised when it looked at them and did not find them in their place. You were surprised at how he was able to run away and destroy all these people around him, and how no one saw him. At some point, the warriors were fighting among the beasts, and Basa ran away and hid in the middle of the grass in the forest. He kept telling himself that this was the perfect escape. Then he looks at Marley and asks him if they will start their journey now. But he doesn't get any response from her, and this is what makes him surprised and wonder if she is sleeping, or even lost its strength from this last attack. But he still doesn't get a response from her and tells himself that this must be something dangerous that happened to Marley. Suddenly, in the meantime, fire comes out of the necklace he is wearing. This fire will be formed in the form of a very frightening devil, which will begin to suffocate all the time. Here we know that the fire that was coming out was Marley in the first place. And whoever you say to him, "You know how much I have suffered all this time," he will think. Barco tells himself that he has only known her for one day and asks her if she is. Her strength returned to her. As long as she appeared in this appearance, she would respond to him once and she would recognize him. Her strength has returned to her and she tells him that the only reason she turned to him was him. It is that they prevent Berea from uniting the two worlds by continuing her words and telling him. Berea moved earlier than expected and united the two worlds. The same time I came for this information. And here I did not expect that. It will be so fast. Here, Park doesn't understand anything. What happens? He tells her, "You are not the one who summoned this monster." And also, he asks her if what she said meant that Berea was the one who sold the monster. For your information. Marley responds to him and feels sorry for him if he is a creature. This didn't make them feel comfortable. And she tells him that these creatures are not monsters but her children. Park is shocked by what he hears. He tells her, "Berea is not only easy to teach you, but it also takes your children away from your knowledge." Marley. She upset him and told him that she only wanted to protect her children. But all that, what she can do is reintegrate them together. That's why they made an appearance. Monsters. At this moment, Park is deducing and understanding the whole moment and what he passed by me in the past days. And he knows that the evil ones are the queen. She told him that he wanted them and they were desperate for Marley. But suddenly and in the middle, their words are heard in the voice of someone watching them from behind the tree. He twisted behind him, quickly and beat it. This is what makes a person faint from fear. After, so Barco ties him to the tree and tries to outrun him. But the person who was, he is very afraid of Barco and pretends to be unconscious. This was because he thought that if he opened his eyes, Barco would kill him. And here's why. Barak loses hope that he will recover, acting like he is my old man and they will leave him behind. This is what caused the tied person to feel safe and open his eyes only suddenly. Barak comes to him and goes to attack him, and when he finds him, this person appears. He sits in front of him crying and asks him not to kill him, but Barak laughs. Silly, and he tells him this will depend on your answer and they ask what is wrong. They heard from their feelings that the two of them make the person nervous and tell him that he is not. I don't hear anything at all. Park knows that he attracts, and he says to him, he heard everything. He asks him how he knows how to find him at all. Because if even a whole team of soldiers, if they had been looking for it, they would never have been. They will meet. Park continues his questions and asks him why he was chasing him alone. He also asks him why he brought his ladle here after that. He threw it because it would have hindered his escape. Park then gets angry and asks to this boy if he wanted to kill him. But this person answers him calmly. He tells him that there was a misunderstanding here. And he goes, changing his features. He tells him that he used the transformation technique so that he could infiltrate the ball. D. He is a spy coming from a faraway place who hates beliefs. Breela. He tells them that his name is Sejan and he specializes in espionage. If he was ordered to infiltrate this ball alone, of course he would accept the order. This is all the time without hesitation. Thanks to his special transformation abilities, he began to carry out the mission quickly and with extreme restrictions. And they say that he met Barak before that in the forest. He was surprised when he saw it because this area is prohibited. There were supposed to be no people there, but he didn't care at the time. This is because he was fully focused on the main task at hand. Because of her. He continues his words after that and says that we will carry out this mission. 3 and collect sufficient information. And that's it. He was walking and coming back. For his queen. But suddenly he heard a loud noise outside the tent. Sitting in it. When he went out to see what was wrong with him, he didn't believe it. It happens. Because from the moment he met Park, it all started. It collapses. And he continues his words and they say that everything that Barak did was fine. Shocking to me. This is because Park did all this in the village in one day. Just one. And here, after he had made the decision that he would leave and go to the world, he felt that Park would be very useful to their organization. Because. That's why he decided to go after Park after he escaped. Park doesn't care. With all the things he said, he asked him if he was a spy because he was prone to suspicion. Then he sits, pressing his head rigidly, and this is what makes him feel like his head is dead. It will explode. But Marley intervenes, takes his hand away from him, and tells him, you will die this way. Park thinks about her words and the ability of this person. On the transformation. He tells her that her current lust may also be fake, and his pure hatred could be a trick. This is in addition to them. They don't have time to investigate and find out the truth. So they will be from. It would be easier for them to kill him. Marley thinks about what Park said, and agree with his opinion. But Guillaume intervenes and tells them that they are. He will regret it very much when he kills him. He informs them that if they prefer this, they will die very soon. Barak responds to him and tells him that he is not afraid of anything. But John tells him that he doesn't know where it is here. And soon the Emperor will be informed about what you did. In just a few hours, you will be known in every corner of this country. Your photos will also spread everywhere. He continues his words after that and informs him that Kareem is still alive and has not died. They also know that this John is not merciful and will continue to expel you even if he is about to die. During this period, how long will you be able to live without any information? Barak listens to the words and asks him if he lets him live all this talk, can it change or not? John responds to him and tells him that his spy is a genius and very skilled at concealment and infiltration. And in the situation he is in right now, There is no one in the world who needs more than you. He looks at him and says in a frightening tone that there are many things hidden behind your words. But he knows that he loves this thing. He calls Marley after her and tells her that she has been robbed of her world. He asks her if she would continue living like this and not seek revenge. Marley responds to him and says, "You don't know how I feel every time I think about my children being taken away." Here, Barak intervenes and tells them that he has a plan. The plan is that they go on an adventure to take revenge on Marley's children. Also, because of the organization, they went and took revenge on Queen Berea. This time we go back to the events exactly a month before Park's death. We will see the commander of the battalion and the one who blessed it, and his name is Kim Shin. He remembers the supreme commander of the army who was about to retire. He tries to provide as much advice to people as possible. We know that it is a summary of the supreme leader's advice to him. It is that he must deal with the soldiers more firmly. Because these soldiers act like hyenas. They are waiting for any opportunity to pounce on him. He then shows him a family photo and asks him to look at it. When Kim looks, he finds a family whose hair is all long. The leader tells him that this family is his family. And he only felt depressed when the MP and the soldiers ignored him after they lost the battle. And he was suffering from this depression after a few years of the matter. He then asks Kim if what he is saying is among them. Kim is excited. The commander tells him that he will not let the soldiers catch him and respect him. And we know, this is the reason that made him feel sorry for Park. Well go after that. For the time that Barak died after he was setting up barriers. And before he dies, Leader Kim was often described as a despicable leader. He also said that was the reason. In his death because of his example. Let's go back again to Barilla once again. She merged the worlds of hers and Marley's. And you say that the operation is completed. Successfully, the worlds are now uniting. Slowly, after a while, we meet the leader. Kim is going through the same thing that Park went through. The owner, Berea, calls him a warrior. Also, as usual, he thinks, Kim, he is in a dream, but Berea responds, on him and you know that this is not his dream and this is real. And now he still exists in the world. What's new and she knows it herself. She also tells him that she is the owner, Berea, who will guide Kim in his new life. Kim thinks about what she said. He tells himself that all that has been happening to him lately are nightmares. It is strange that he suddenly has a dream now. He continues his words and says that the last thing he remembered was when he was outside the house and he was not sleeping. He concludes with himself that everything that exists now is a dream and nothing more. He hopes that when he comes out of this dream, what happened to Barak and his death was just a dream too. But he knew within himself that what happened to Barak was real and he could not ignore it. He says that he can pretend that the matter did not happen. Berea interrupts his thoughts and tells him that what happened to you was a sudden event, so it might not have happened. Do you remember? But sadness is your luck. I was able to preserve the memory for you when you die. Here Berea goes and the memory returns to Kim. He begins to think about everything that happened to him and that he died in a traffic accident when the bus crashed. Kim screams in shock when he realizes that all this is not his dream and that his life is over. But Berea comes to him and tells him that it is not yet complete and that there is a reason why she is here. Because of the Queen's mercy, he was given this opportunity. And she will be able to bring him back to life at the time before he dies. This is for the purpose of saving him. But there will be one condition for this to happen. When there is no team with him, how difficult the condition is. He tells her that he will do everything she wants for the purpose of bringing him back again. She responds to Berea and tells him that this condition is that you must be a warrior. Your mission is to defeat all the evil that invades my world. After a period of time, events take place with us. The Empire is strange for the first time we see it. We meet his mother and her son as they return from school. But suddenly the same thing happened in the village of Jang. A crack appears in the sky, and a very huge monster emerges from it. This is what causes most of the city to be destroyed. But at the same time, Kim and the other Queen's assistant, whose name is White, are in the sky. On the Empire. This, of course, is after Berea bestowed power on Kim to help him in his mission. She tells him that he will not need to be afraid of anything in the new world because White will guide him and introduce him to everything. Neat. Berea advises him to try to indulge in this power. Kim is here trying to put her words into practice. Suddenly, there is a huge explosion in the sky and Kim turns into a great warrior. We see White transform into a sword so Kim can use it. Then an attacker goes to plant the monsters that emerge from the rift and destroys them all with one attack. Then he reassures the citizens that they do not need to worry because he will protect them. This same time at the entrance to the Empire, Bacon Park and Spy John try to sneak him there. At that time, Park was not confident and was afraid that he might be exposed. But John reassures him that he is now with a professional spy. And all things will be fine. We then learn that Park is disguised as a priest and John is disguised as a nun. When they arrive at the guard at the gate, Peshka Park and John for his hard work protecting the Empire. At that time, the guard there will have a picture of the wanted person being arrested, which is a picture of Park. And then he looks at the person in front of him. I can't find any resemblance between them, and that's because the guy's features changed. We know that all of this was Barak's decision to go to the Empire. He was determined to make this decision despite John's objections. And this is because old John knew that he would definitely be reported there and that he would remain one of them, most wanted. But Park explains his point of view, and he tells him that he was in. There is a saying that a lighthouse does not shine at its base. I mean, in a more correct sense then, it is difficult to notice something close to you. Even if you are in a situation and you know that, if you hesitate, the best solution is for you. You go directly to the enemy's lair. John hears what he's saying and asks him if he is not afraid that he will go there. He responds to Barrack and tells us that I will not be afraid of anything as long as he does. I am so dead at this moment. John Khan realized how important Park was, and he must present his leader to him. Whatever it takes, here he decided. He will cooperate with him and bring him into the Empire because they have offered no other solution. That's it. We go back again to the guard at the gate. And what we find? He asks Park why he is here since he is a priest. Park responds to him. He tells him that he came here because of a monster attack and now he is going to pray. The church in the city center. This is what makes the guard smile. He tells him that as soon as he listens to him, he will be blessed. And at that time, he will open the way for them to enter. And here they are after they succeed. Entering the Empire, Park Gun asks if this is all. John. He doesn't understand what he means. So Barrack explains to him that he was afraid of him before, with the words he told him about the difficulties he would face. Enter the Empire. John answers him and tells him that they were. We couldn't be more lucky. This is because when they came, they attacked the Arabs in order to create their fake identity. This vehicle originally belonged to a priest, and that was it. For their benefit and their servants because of the Empire they are in now. The Empire is very religious and of course they know that with his skill in makeup. What changed Park's features is that he was never able to enter this Empire. Park easily thinks and tells himself that this person turned out to be really useful. They also say that he is upset because the atmosphere in the Empire is lively. There are many people in the street. John responds to him and tells him that this is really strange. Here, Park is surprised by his answer. He asks him whether this was holiday in the Empire or not. John responds to him and tells him that the atmosphere here is similar to that of festivals. And the Imperial Festival is over long ago. There is no reason currently for this atmosphere to occur. He then thinks to himself and says that this is definitely a festival atmosphere. This is a very strange thing, and people here celebrate despite the appearance of monsters. He says that he should look more into this topic. During this time, as soon as John finishes his words, there is a child in Park who is excited. As usual, Barrack shows his talents in acting and now works on the child and asks him if he is fine. The child is very happy with Park's attention and tells him that he's the one sorry that he bumped him and walks while he is happy. He thinks that it belonged to the child and that he dropped it hours ago and did not hit it. So he takes Barrack Aldumia and calls the child to return it to him. But it's over. It's too late and this child will be walking. Burks parked the Dumia and wrapped it around to see it. At that time, he was very shocked because he found this game similar to the battalion commander who was with him in the army, and who he was, Kimshin. After that, we head to a cabin in the middle of the forest. This hut is John's hideout. There, Barrack was sitting inside, still holding the doll, and he could not believe what he saw. He remembers when people asked about this doll and they told him that this is the warrior who took their lives away from the monster. She suddenly appeared in the sky. John speaks here and says that he was completely shocked when he heard that a warrior appeared in the Empire. But Barrack responds to him and tells him that he is not surprised or anything because he expected this to happen. He was sitting and waiting for this hero to appear. He informs them that he was nominated to be the hero who appeared. John and Marley are shocked when they hear this. But Barrack continues his words and tells them that he is Kenbol. Because of this, instead of being the hero, he became the person he is now. But despite all this, Park's mind still refuses to believe that this new hero is Kim. At this moment, they ask John and Marley about his next plans after the appearance of this warrior. Park thinks a little about their words and thinks to himself about the events of the battle that took place between him and Kareem. He would say to himself at the time, if he had not cheated on Marley, you would have helped me. I would have died in my time. That's why I need to be stronger now in any way possible. He tells them that, frankly, he thinks about the niche and experience. He directs his words to John and tells him that he will go to a bed where he can constantly develop his strength. He asks him if this would be a reason for him to come with him. He thinks about John and tells him, you are completely crazy because we could die if we did something like this. But Barrack responds to him and tells him that it doesn't matter whether he dies or not. He tells him that he knows a specific place that he can achieve based on what he said. They will not stay there and will leave as soon as they are ready. After that, we head to sweep the Empire. There is Commander Kim Bacon standing in front of Tamsal Labrilla. At that time, a soldier comes to him and tells him that there is a woman who wants to meet him outside. She also tells him that she claims to know the identity of the demons that came to this world. Kim looks at him and asks him to enter it immediately. This girl enters, and after that we know that it is a period. As soon as she sees Kim, she says to herself that this is a true warrior because she feels his heavenly power. Here the soldier introduces her to Kim and tells him that this is the leader of the guards of the Rain tribe. She was the first person in this world to collide with the devil here. Kim looks at her and thanks her for her effort in fighting this devil. But she responds to him and tells him that she wants a favor from him. And you ask him. He goes and searches for the devil who appeared and anyone who helps him. And you tell him that, during the disaster, her subordinate fell into a coma because of it. The limit has not yet passed. She asks him to allow her to join the band. Her so that she could get rid of the devil who did this to her friend. We will return to the pool again. He is the one who will be gone. The secret place is gone, and this is where he will strengthen himself. This place is an illegal circuit. There, the commentator stood in the middle of the ring and announced the two sides that would participate in the first fight, and he got excited. Audience. He tells all the viewers that they are betting all their money on the fighter they are convinced can win. He asks them to greet the first fighter of the Almutnak Al-Karish weapon. So Crash enters the ring and they tell him that he will help the poor with the financial prize he will win. Then the commentator announces his opponent, who is appearing in the ring for the first time here. What we know is that his name is the Heroic Tiger. But in reality, this was Park. But it has green facial fat as a kind of camouflage. Park is talking inside the ring and saying that this place is his favorite place because it makes his heart race quickly with enthusiasm. At the moment, DeJohn and Marley are also in disguise and are watching the fight from afar. As soon as the two enter the ring, they stand in front of each other and the commentator announces the start of the first, a fight. And then Crash doesn't waste any time and directs his fist at you, saying that he wants to end this fight quickly. Park is surprised by the speed of his attack and remains standing where he is, not doing anything. But then, in Swansea, we meet the governor and the entire public, astonished by what happened. It is evident that they could not believe their eyes when they threw Kashuka on the ground, and that Barak was able to defeat the warrior. This is powerful in one hit. The battle between them ended so quickly. Park then laughs evilly and tells the commentator to quickly answer the next opponent. At this time, he hears a killing from outside the ring and sits back to verify his words. He tells him that the annoying kids like him are from the beginning. They shouldn't be scratching themselves. And then he attacks Park as soon as he enters the ring. But Park manages to take his hit easily. He then responded with a punch to his left side, causing him to lose consciousness. He also wins Park again and fights quickly with one hit. People here are very happy that a new young man has appeared on the scene. He was able to eliminate the Demon Crash and Neo with just one hit. At the same time, Guillaume is watching the fighting taking place. He tells himself that originally, Barak was destined to fight two faces, one with Kareem, who is considered one of the strongest fighters on the continent. It's clear now that there is no chance for the people here to be able to stand in front of him. But on the other hand, there is a person here who is also fighting in this place. He tells himself that this person is almost generous or might even be stronger than him. He is just a monster in human form, and anyone should be careful of him. After that, we go to the hotel where Park is staying. At that time, he ordered a lot of food and started eating his food. He says that all the food in this world is exactly the same. Guillaume is still mad at what he is blessed to do. He asks him not to eat much, because so far he has spent almost half of Giza's money. But Park doesn't pay attention to what he says and keeps eating because he hasn't eaten a meal like this for a while. Here Marley is eating with him and telling him that eating is really not a bad thing. Barak realizes her words and says, "What do you mean by that it is not a bad thing?" He goes to ask her about the number of doctors she has taken so far. After that, he gets serious and belittles her and says that at least it is nothing worse than losing your knowledge. At that time, Marley becomes very irritated by what he says and grabs his bottle of alcohol and begins to disturb his brain. By saying that she is fanatical, there are things that are useful for joking about and things that are not. At the same time, they are suffocating and a stranger enters the restaurant. He tells Barak that the match that took place that day was very great. It would be surprising that he was found in a place like this. He asks him to let him buy a drink at his expense. But Barak refuses and says that he does not drink sweets because it does not affect his muscle growth. This person responds to him and tells him that he meant them. A student goes to the waitress for a drink, and he drinks protein for his sake. And he tells him that he is drinking his own drink. And I can't believe that you were able to match 13 players in the first place. Your appearance in the ring. He continues his words and tells him that he is very talented, but it is surprising that he has never seen him in the Empire until now. What are you going to do? You are definitely not Manuel, not like that. Barak responds to him and asks him what Manuel is like. This person is surprised by his question and how he does not know Manuel. He asks him where he came from because he must be living under a rock. Barak responds to him and tells him that his situation was similar because he lived on top of a mountain. He doesn't know anything about the world here. He asks him to explain to him who Manuel said this about. This person responds to him and tells him that it is not very important, and it's just the worst criminal organization in the entire empire. He continues that because of the harsh nature of the city here, the people here are also behind like him. There are a lot of wanted people and a lot of crimes in the city here. This is because all of his soups are gathered in one place. The empire completely ignores them and treats them exactly like a Kamama. But this Manuel is an exception to everything I said. And if anyone thought about getting involved with him, his matter would be over. John hears his words and asks him if there is anything else that they should be careful of here. This is because he feels terrified just because he imagined being in a place like this. Barak was listening to the words and secretly saying that this bastard spy is asking good questions. He also says that he went to the most unexpected place and that it will help him greatly in the future. The person in front of them thinks about asking John and says that there is one more thing, but they should take their civilization from her. He says that in the back streets, there are rumors that eating chicken and wine has returned again. John gets very excited when he hears that name. He asks the person in front of him if he meant someone named Friday. Park is surprised by his reaction and asks them about the identity of this Fry they are talking about. The person sitting with them scratches his head about Park's ignorance and says, "You really look like you came from a high mountain, since you are not. You don't know." He asks him to let him know if he gets into a fight with him at any time. He says that Friday is the strongest warrior in the lower arena, and he sanctifies chicken and wine more than Queen Berea herself. He is now wanted by justice because of his atheism, but he is classified as a Category A combatant. After a while, we go to Mali school. There was a tribe that ruled it after Mali disappeared, and its name was the Ma tribe. At that time, the tribe's leader was holding the head of a monster with many eyes in his hand. He asks him if there is a different flag behind these walls, But before the monster responds, he is burned by Berea's flag warriors and dies. Well, this leader thinks about what is happening. They say that their mother suddenly disappeared, and then all the time there remained gates that were constantly opening. This certainly means that it will never be just a coincidence. After that, all the monsters are gathered together and all of them are left to turn the world around until they meet their mother. We return again to Park, who is sitting in a group in the neighborhood with John and Marley. At that time, Yuri John showed a picture of Friday and said that this was the person who loved chicken and wine. He is ranked number 8 in Class A warriors. Barak does not concentrate on his words at all because he seems to think that his name is very true. John responds to him and tells him that his name may be true, but his skills are nothing. Completely different. He tells him that Kareem, whom he fought, was ranked number 10 among the fighters of the same category, and he was considered the lowest value of warriors. Barak understands the words and says with a malicious laugh that since Friday's ranking is higher, he is better off. It seems that he is stronger than Kareem. Then Mary asks him how she can help him defeat this person. But Park responds to her and tells her that he asked you this is very stupid, because if you come and help me, I won't be able to develop myself at all. He tells him who knows how I can improve myself and how I will be stronger. He continues his words and says to him, who knows that you are worried about the situation we are in. But he asks them to be patient with him a little because he thought of a very foolish plan. You will let them break out of this situation. Then we go to a restaurant in the back streets. And whoever is there on Fridays is eating his chicken and his wine. He was very happy with the taste of the chicken, its golden color, and the clean oil that was made with it. This, of course, is other than the light spices that give it a sweet taste when eaten. In the middle of Friday, he was enjoying the chicken, bringing it to Park and cutting it up. He tells us that you don't know how to eat chicken correctly. When Friday hears this, he gets angry from Park County. Everyone present is afraid of what they might do. And Barak continues his words and says, even though I saw you eating, I came in because you were hungry. He asks him if he can take a piece of his spare time. Friday responds to him while he is fanatical and tells him that the reason why you are alive for this moment is that this is the taste of emptiness. Very nice today. And he says stop, testing his patience as he walks from here now. He responds to Park that he is not coming to fight with him. He is only here to be friends and nothing more. Friday comes back to me nervously and says, in this village, no one dares to interrupt me while I am eating. My emptiness. In the end, Park became known as the heroic tiger. Park smiles when he hears him mention his nickname, and he says, you look like you saw my match. He says that since you saw it, you surely know the reason why we left you. Then Park asks him to come and kill him in the ring now. Friday responds to him and asks him if he knows the reason why he was killed in these matches. He tells us that for me, the free meal after victory has a special taste. He also says that you won't think about your words when you kill me because you're just weak now. Even with your weak level, you will never feel the need because you do not want to be my opponent. Then he asks Park to walk away if he understands what he said. But Park also continues his provocation and asks him the reason that makes him eat something on purpose, like chicken. Friday is upset by what he says and tries to stop him. But Barak doesn't give him a chance and makes him stay silent and listen to him. He says that chickens lack minerals and vitamins. However, it contains high levels of carbohydrates and cholesterol. It would be better for you to buy pizza because it will be very tasty, but it is easy to eat. Friday couldn't control himself after hearing him make a mistake with his chicken. He is more important than the chair he is sitting on and asks Barak if his wish was to die today. Park makes an evil laugh and tells him that if he continues to avoid the next match, he will be like a coward. He will grow old to admit that pizza tastes better than chicken. All the people in the place at that time would be very afraid of this stupid person. Of course, this is because it was stormy on Friday, and they tell him that this current situation is the calm before the storm. On the other hand, the restaurant owner is protecting workers from the losses that could happen if a battle began. As for Friday, he has reached the highest levels of his nervousness. He asks Park if he wants to go to the ring now and start their fight. But then he changes his mind and says, bless her, she broke your body now and we don't need to go to the ring. When Barak hears this, he becomes worried and puts his hand on the table underneath and threatens that he will turn it over with the chicken on it. Fry becomes very upset by his behavior and goes to attack him. But Park shakes the table and makes the plate of chicken about to fall. Then he calms down this Fry and starts playing from inside, a cheap trick of the bar. He shakes his mind and asks him to remove his hand from the table for now and leave his empty space alone and not let him fall from it. Peace up. He continued to bless his words as he told him that the next match would be in exactly a week. All the audience present will know about our fight. Friday responds to him and tells him that she is playing with him and using the void against him. Because of this, he will make him pay with his life for what he did. Barak listens to his words and leaves him and walks away and tells him that he will wait in the square in a week. He laughs and says that during this week, leave everything free as you want. After that, we head to John's hideout. And he asks Barak when he comes back if he was going outside today. Park responds to him and tells him that he was just setting the date for the match with Friday. He laughs and tells him that the matter was very easy for him because he threatened him with his own emptiness. The first time Ajum hears this, he becomes very afraid and screams at Barak, telling him that he will regret what he did. He goes and asks him why he did this. Queen Marley enters here and guides him and tells him that Barak always used his licensed roads. It seems now that he chose the more difficult path. But he is definitely not a stupid person to do this without a plan. He brings blessings to them and asks them to stick to it. He says that he will show them something they have never seen. Events will happen with us after that, exactly a week away. Of course, we know that today is the day of the fight that will take place between Park and Friday. We see the two standing in the middle of the ring. Barak has his